Watching the World 777. Thanks for having me on.
All right, what can you tell us so far about the Diddy case dealing with today? Talk to us about the day situation.
Well, now they're trying to establish a RICO case, so they're bringing in a new witness that's kind of substantiating what the previous girls have said about the fights that happened at Diddy house. Previously, Cassie had said that one of her friends was thrown off the balcony onto the floor, onto some furniture. And so today we got a chance to meet that girl. Her name is Bana. And she came in and she told a story about how Diddy basically was beating her. Now, when we go back into court, which is starting soon, she's going to explain her story about this incident. And they're slowly painting a picture about a RICO case. And I see it as being a real problem. So the defense is doing a great job at warding off these individual accusations. But I think over time, they're going to have to step up their pace if they're going to beat the government.
Would you label the Diddy trial the trial of the decade, arguably the trial of the century? And if so, why?
This is definitely the trial of the century. All eyes are on this case. Today I went live. I had people all over the world, Australia, Germany, following the channel. Every morning I go live. But also here on the ground, on the deck, we have people from all walks of life covering this trial each and every day. Like, for instance, myself, I pay every day for someone to wait in line for me. Imagine doing that for 2 months. I travel an hour and a half each day, each way. So it's a big investment, and many of us are willing to make it because this case, all eyes are on it. And not only that, we get a chance to see an attorney that's amazing. Brian Steele is top-notch attorney, and I think he has what it takes. If Diddy could win or what have you, if the defense could do a good job, he would be essential for that.
Powerful. Looking at the testimony so far, do you foresee Diddy being convicted or exonerated?
Right now I have the prosecutors at 60% and I have Diddy at 40%. Now, that's because I've been here every day from the very beginning of the trial, and every day they're dropping all of these accusations. But here's the thing. There are some people that I believe on the jury and whatnot that may tell a different story. They may see it a different way from what I've observed in the totality of this trial. So I think, though, we have to wait to see what defense put on, because they could turn this 60-40 into a 50-50 and perhaps even take the lead.
All right. Speaking of the testimonies, which testimony do you think impact Diddy the worst?
Most people think it's Cassie. I think it was Capricorn Clark. And let me tell you why. As I said on sa.neter's channel the other night, she painted a movie, and when people are able to express their feelings in a movie style, it helps everybody to remember that. So she tells a story about how she was kidnapped by Diddy on 2 separate occasions, one involving when some jewelry was sold that Diddy had bought from Jacob the jeweler, and then the second time when Kid Cudi was involved, and the courthouse was full that day because everybody wanted to see Kid Cudi, who also has a strong following. So that day, I think, impacted Diddy the most, especially the jury and others. And it's, like I said, it's going to be tough for him to pull this off because of the impact of her testimony as well as Cassie and others.
Do you think more high-profile celebs will be subpoenaed to testify?
I don't think they're going to subpoena a lot of high-profile celebrities, but here's what I think is going to happen. Do you mind if I share?
Yes.
I think that this case is going to set up for a lot of high-profile celebrities to take a hit like Diddy if they're not careful with their behavior, because now we've seen R. Kelly, which can be justified by his behavior, but now we have these one-man RICOs. And now Diddy is sitting there with a one-man RICO, and they're painting his employees as this vast organization that's out here committing crimes as a criminal enterprise. And that could be a problem for ball players, musicians, content creators, anybody that has substantial income or a strong following.
What do you think about Diddy's lawyer, Stills?
I think the lawyers are great, but I think that Brian Steele takes the cake as far as his delivery. He knows how to command the audience, and I noticed that the entire room, when he goes up, they're paying attention because he doesn't even miss a word. The other teammates are great. They have their own skill level. I think Agnafilio, from what I see, he's been able to, with witnesses that have been really bad, he didn't try to refute them as a victim. He just tried to pull out of them the good things that they knew about Diddy instead of getting into an all-out war with these particular victims.
Do you think P Diddy is just the fall guy?
I followed this case before he got indicted. I do think, as came out in court yesterday, that Diddy has some issues with some of these major league players as far as Ciroc and all these other companies. And yesterday it came out that he even had a deal with Chase. Chase Bank was on the chairman of the board or whatnot. So all these details are coming out that really help us to see that this is bigger than Diddy. And I feel like on top of whatever he did, he rubbed some people the wrong way.
All right, I know you spoke on RICO, but let's be clear. Is there enough evidence for a RICO charge?
I think so far they're laying down a RICO because, listen, the government make up their own rules. This whole RICO is like carbon monoxide. You don't even know it's taking you down because they use this whole persona, and they also, they're in court right now. We're seeing them just come up with all these allegations, and many of them that Diddy did, but the government make the rules as they go.
How deep does this sex trafficking rabbit hole go?
You know, I can only speak for this case because I haven't really followed a lot of these cases. I didn't cover R. Kelly, but I do think that people, once they get a lot of money, they feel like they're invincible. But I think now we're starting to see that if you're not careful and you don't behave yourself, the government can definitely reach you.
How will a guilty verdict affect his family and his legacy?
Well, some of the attorneys that came on my channel have said that it's a potential for him to lose all of his money and so forth. Now, all the logistics of that, I don't know, but it's going to have a major impact on him and his family. It also depends on how he has them set up and as far as their future. Maybe he has them well taken care of. Maybe he saw this storm coming. But I think it's going to affect at large black people in general because this case is such high profile, and in a way I feel like it affects us all.
Let's say they find P. Diddy guilty. Do you think P. Diddy can be pardoned by the president, Trump?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has to put together a deal, and I think Donald Trump would close the deal for him.
Can Diddy be reformed?
Based on what I'm hearing, Diddy was on drugs heavily. He's owned that. He's also owned that he was on alcohol. He owned that he was abusing people or women in his relationships. But as far as being reformed, I don't know. This is a very serious case. If he is going to be reformed, it's going to take something higher than himself.
Last question, brother, because I know you got to get back to work. How damaging is Eddie Garcia testimony about Sean Combs paying him $100K for the video of him allegedly attacking Cassidy at the hotel?
I told you they're cooking them slow. That's what's happening. They're cooking them slow every day. Like, for instance, they're breaking down that they have so much force in this case. Sorry, there's a lot of fighting going on in the background. But anyway, force is what was used. Hey, cool it. So anyway, it's very hard to move forward. Thank you, brother. Okay. So anyway, in the video that they went through today, there was a lot of force used in beating up Cassie and so forth. So force is a part of this case. Also, we seen today as far as the beating of other people instead of, this is so crazy out here. This is every day out here, people pulling up. So now I can answer. Okay, so we started off the case with the video. They used the video today as well. Give me a minute, brother. Give me a minute. They started off the case with the video of him beating Cassie, which really affected everybody in the room. Today they actually had the specialist, Frank Piazza, come in and break down that video. And I don't think the defense did a good job at showing that anything was uncredible about the video. So this is going to be a problem. But when it comes to the video, Cassie is saying that she was involved in a freak-off. And so with that being said, with her being involved in a freak-off, Diddy is dragging her back to the room. That's force. So how can you really get around that? They also brought out in trial that he beat the chef. How can you get around that? The girl today that testified by the name of Bonner, she's saying that she was thrown on the balcony on some furniture. That's not his relationship. This is his girl's friend. How can you get around that? That's going to be a major issue. So we have to wait and see how well the attorneys do on cross-examination.
All right, I want to say thank you, my brother Mel. Appreciate you.